Hey, I'm Colin Schindler, team lead of the Schindler Home Team, and this is the Beloit Buzz, where I sit down with local business owners and hear their stories. They're the ones who make Beloit a fun place to live, work, and play. Stick around and discover the who, the what, and the why behind Beloit's Buzz. Welcome back to the Beloit Buzz. We are kicking this episode series off again, going all in with the stars of A&E's TV series, betting on Beloit.
I mean, I'm like second tier star.
You're a star. You're a star.
Just like a star.
We are here with Konya Hendricks-Schuh and Fox-Haines. If you haven't seen it yet, you are missing out. But if you haven't seen it yet, let's hear a little bit about the show and a little bit more about who you are.
Well, thank you for that plug.
Yeah, thank you so
That's
much.
good.
We're
Yeah.
happy to be
Down
here.
here.
Of course.
What do you want to know?
How much time do we have?
Yeah, we are yappers, so this
So-
could be 5 minutes, it could be an hour.
I mean, this is your platform. Tell us a little bit about who you are, how you got started, and what the show is all about.
I'll let Konya take the lead on
I
that
know.
one. I'll let her start.
Who am I? Well, I mean, I've been in real estate since, I was, out of college, got a marketing degree. Here I go down the long
Here we
story.
go. Paint the whole picture.
Yeah. Had a marketing degree, got my real estate license in my 20s. My husband Matt and I, he was in construction. We started building homes. And my whole career has really just been, in some capacity, it has involved, real estate and construction. And then fast forward decades, because that's how old I am.
Don't date yourself.
Many decades, yeah.
Two decades.
I think we're talking 3 decades, actually. And, our energies are pretty focused here on Beloit. Our family's history with Beloit, my mom and my dad really have just always been about, this community and giving back and Beloit's whole revitalization story. So at some point, the ask was made. My mom came to me and said, I really would like to engage you in fixing up this really special neighborhood in Beloit, the Beloit College Park District. And there's some houses that need serious attention, and I'd like you to lead this mission. And I had a little reluctancy, but ultimately I was game. And we started, renovating houses, and here we are. One thing led to the next. At some point we started filming the whole process and seeing
started
out
with
where
that
that would
idea
go.
and-
Yeah, an idea that we could, make this a little bigger and really just kind of spread the narrative that Beloit, isn't, Beloit had a bad, you're from here.
Yeah.
It had a bad rap for a lot of years, especially for people that lived outside of Beloit looking in. And we wanted to change that.
Yeah.
So I was really excited to, even just be a little bit of that story, and just help my parents' bigger mission to make Beloit a great place to live, work, and play.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Now we're on TV. Here we go.
Now we're on TV.
Yeah.
And I make brief appearances here and there.
You do.
Yeah, you
So-
do. More than once, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I appreciate you guys for what you do in the community. These folks are a big reason, before we knew each other in personal manners, why I came back here after college. Prior to anything with a TV show or highlighting it in the mainstream media or news, I wanted to give back to a community and help be a leader in a community. And you guys inspire that. And I don't think that they're just inspiring it in this community. I think that with a larger podium now, you're inspiring it in communities all over the United States.
I think that's the goal, quite honestly. I mean, the show doesn't just show that we can do it in Beloit. It kind of I feel like our other goal is to show that other communities can do this too. All it takes is an idea and a little bit of love.
There are a lot of, I feel like, cities that have a parallel story to Beloit, blue collar factory towns that, the factories pulled out and left cities in a bad way. And I think that, our Beloit story is just, just coming up with a new plan ahead and figuring out and adapting to the situation. So I think Beloit, is absolutely one day going to be, shown as a leader in that capacity and show people what can what can come of it. And you're giving us way too much credit, by the way, because it really is. It is my mom, Connor's grandma. She's just all in. And she put a lot on the line to give back to this community that she cares about so much. So, I mean, she really was the one that really paved the way for all the change that you see in and around Beloit. And, we're just kind of like, hanging on to her coattails here. But yeah.
She's paving the path for, I would say, like for us to follow in that legacy type. Yeah. She's spearheading the idea, and we're just along for the ride. Willingly along for the ride.
Speaking of paving the path, how did you get your start then?
So I'll actually kind of credit it to Konya a little bit. I mean, we were always close when I was growing up. I mean, we spent a lot of time together, even when I was a young child. Yeah, so I think...
He was the only one who thought I was funny. We really
still do.
We had the same. We had the same sense of humor from the time he was little.
We're very similar. We're very similar. So, I mean, you always tell the story that when I was the only 4-year-old that wanted to sell houses. What 4-year-old says they want to be a realtor? Probably not many.
I wanted to be a ballerina.
Yeah, I wanted to be a realtor. I set my sights really high for life. So I was in college. Took me a little longer to finish college, but I got my license.
A little
bit longer, but got my license while I was still in college, and then
I remember that day we celebrated.
We did. When I passed the state exam. Connie was at. I think you were at Quaker Steak and Lube, and I was like, I'm on my way. I passed my exam, and on the first try, and it was
the first time we had fried pickles too.
Yeah, and now we're addicted.
Yeah,
but that was almost 10 years ago. So just been able to follow Konya and learn, and she pulled me into this project, and I'm very thankful that she did, because like I said, it's kind of continuing that family legacy, and I'm very proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's very exciting, and to do a career of real estate, it's one thing, but to bring it to camera and to like highlight what you're doing is entirely different. What would be the biggest challenge or thing that maybe you wouldn't have expected throughout this whole process, whether it's with getting these homes rehabilitated or the filming aspect or the community response?
Well, for me, the biggest challenge for sure is streamlining construction schedules with the production schedule. Those two things, now have to align. I've learned so much, because I've never worked in television. I like to think I'm a quick study. I've learned a lot in the last couple of years. I'm also an executive producer on the show, so I mean, I've kind of involved in every aspect. But the biggest challenge is now, we have tight timelines for the show to film a whole season. So we have to get, say, 5 to 6 projects done in X amount of time, and we need to film it. And all those things, need to be pretty seamless, because we need production crews, in Beloit to capture, the changes and big days. And it's just a lot. Yeah. So that, just the juggle of the coordination that goes into, not only finding the projects, making the design decisions with the team, and then, getting the houses sold, and that whole process with cameras rolling takes a lot.
Yeah. So, especially when you have a little baby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Adding in being a new parent. I mean, Deacon's almost 1, but when we kind of were really getting into the weeds of this whole process, I was almost a new dad, and then those first couple weeks he was born, we had some pretty big scenes and stuff that we had to film, and I'm like, do I have bags under my eyes? I'm barely awake right now, but we just powered through. I was wanting to be a part of this, and we just made it work. So I think that was probably my initial challenge.
It's a great part for TV. I mean, just of the story. I mean, real life.
And just the process that we had to go through, Jonathan and I had to go through to have a child through surrogacy, and being able to showcase that on national TV is kind of surreal and indescribable. I can't, a process not a lot of people, I think, understand. And so being able to discuss that and talk about it and kind of put that
Or
kind of in that-
margaritas.
over margaritas, over an
Sometimes.
apple cider margarita. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm always down to discuss over a margarita, but that was very cool. I don't even really know how else to describe it other than cool to be able to talk about that on a national TV show.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
my other challenge is working with you, I would say, but
What does that mean? Come on.
Miss
Connor
Micromanagement.
get
Just
yes.
kidding. No,
I
I'm
am.
just kidding.
I'm a bit of a micromanager.
Just kidding. No, it's been an absolute honor to work with
Whoa.
Konya.
Whoa.
So just it has been. I mean, she is very knowledgeable. So like I said, I've been in real estate almost 10 years, and I'll never be the smartest realtor, but it.
Sell yourself short.
No, but there's always opportunities to learn. Is
Yeah.
kind of what I'm trying to get at. And it's an ever changing career and industry. So being able to learn from Konya, who's had more experience than I have, it's
Dinosaur.
been
Dinosaur.
you wise old owl
Yeah.
is what we always call her. But no, it's been very. I'm honored to be able to learn from her because I'm always learning new things
Thank
from
you.
her. So
Especially with the style of homes that you're doing. You are taking a historic old home and keeping it that way, but going to the nines and doing updated modern fixtures, but keeping that old charm. And I don't know how many people could potentially have that vision or that eye for it. And it's one of those things that, yeah, you've taught the community so much
you
throughout
want
as well.
you want to keep the integrity of the history of the home. So that is amazing that we've been able to do that.
Well, Connor's not involved in the design side of things, but
I
he's
give
just
credit
great.
to Konya and her team all the time. Like I just have to come in and sell these,
Yeah.
and they make my job very easy to do that. They're stunning, but I give all credit to Konya and the team.
But yeah, I mean, we have definitely put together a great team. I mean, we have Pete Woodkey, who, as a project manager, has worked for CCI, our construction arm, for about 20 some years, I believe, about 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Great to work with. So he and I are together. I mean, our lives are now very intertwined because, every day on a construction site, there's decisions to be made. And then, I like to say I'm kind of a self-proclaimed designer. I'm always remodeling things. I used to build houses and I made all the selections and I really enjoy that. So I almost view the design side as like my hobby. But also just to make sure I don't screw up too bad. Two of my closest friends are Kristen and Mitch, who are in the show. And so we'll kind of rally together to make all the really big, bold design decisions together. So it just gives me, I always say, like, Kristen will try to be like, spread your wings. Like, you can do this. You have great taste. But I'm like, I'm still a little apprehensive. I need her for my confidence to, like, even though we usually go the same direction and choose the same things, it helps me knowing that, like, when she's like, no, I agree, that's great, then I just feel confident in that decision. So that's fun. And then we get to the sales side, the houses are done, they're beautified, everyone's worked really hard. Then Connor comes in and it's like, okay, I do still have my real estate license, but I wear so many hats that I'm like, okay, you have to do the heavy lift here with the sales. And the thing with the show, since you were singing my praises, I'm going to sing yours now, but his personality is absolutely just infectious. I mean, you guys are friends, so like, he brings great energy to any space that you are in, and you are truly organically 100% who you are on camera, which is huge, and I think
You're making me blush.
When people say to me too, like when they'll say like, oh, you guys are so great on camera, so natural, I'm like, well, either like me or you don't, but I have zero acting breath. I don't know how to act at all. I genuinely don't. I'd probably be a terrible actor. But I'm like, so you just gotta, I'm just myself. And Connor is just so good at being yourself. And people really enjoy being around Connor. And I think that's why you've been successful in real estate. I mean, just because of that. Because buying a house or selling a house, you end up getting to know a lot of my clients from the past are now my really good friends because you spend a lot of time together and you're enjoyable to spend time with, So I think that's been huge for you in the career, and it certainly adds a whole fun dimension to the show. So I'm really glad. And bringing in just more family because, our family story is very interwoven in Beloit. So
One thing you told me when we were doing the show idea was be yourself and have fun. And I was like, well, that'll be easy
Mm-hmm.
because I just kind of live authentically. I don't really,
Yeah.
I feel like
I am who I am,
Tell
and
me if I'm wrong.
very large personality. And
You've done a lot more filming now than I have, but obviously doing these segments and whatnot, it's hard when you're a genuine, authentic person to do that type of filming. Would you say that that's true? Just because it's like, well, that was me because they want you to redo it. And it's like, all right, let's do
Some
that
of
scene
it's
again.
some
But
of
it's like,
it,
well, that was my real self the first time, and now if I have to
Yeah.
pretend to be someone else.
But it's still like you're still even if it's a redo. Sometimes things are caught organically on
Yeah.
camera. Some we try to, especially with Pete and I in decisions where sometimes he'll hold off. There's a big decision to be made. He'll wait, knowing we're filming on Thursday. So
Yeah.
he'll be like, "Okay, I need an answer, but I'm gonna wait till Thursday so I can get
Okay,
Kanye's real
very
reaction."
cool.
So we try. We're all
That's
aware
great.
of that now.
Yeah.
I think you and I, just all of us
Yeah.
are. But even when you have to redo a scene, like, okay, like we already chose the cabinets, but now we're gonna choose. I mean, it's easier when you're just being yourself. Like you're like,
Yeah.
okay, let's have that same conversation again.
Yeah.
And I
But
feel
I
like a lot of stuff with that Konya and I film is just more organic anyway, because we're actually truly talking about like, okay, what's our strategy to sell these
Yeah.
houses?
You
What's
really
the
do need to
marketing
sell the
plan?
house.
First,
Yeah, we do.
first-
We have the two left, obviously,
Yeah.
and we,
From
working
season one.
working very hard to try and get, did a big brokers open, and you thought it was just going to be like, 10 people, and I'm like, oh, I invited like 50 people, had way too much food, but I feel like a lot of our stuff that we film together is truly just organic and talking about work and talking about life and catching up.
You and I
Yeah.
get to have a lot of like lifestyle
Yeah.
scenes
Yeah.
together.
Yeah,
first
mixing a
conversation,
little
connection.
business.
Yeah.
It is, and
Yeah.
we are so organic together and just get along so well. And I like to say we share.
So you get my
Some-
bitchy texts.
Sometimes.
Sometimes I have to be a boss.
Sometimes,
We all do.
yeah. And then I'll say to Jonathan, no, I'm just kidding. I'll be like, I got this text from Kanye, I need a drink, and then I move on and we
Well,
deal
us
with
boys
it.
need a
But
little direction. From
yeah,
help us along.
yeah. But no, I feel like the more you work with Kanye, the more you just learn what she expects and what she wants, and it's kind of an ever evolving relationship.
I
But
set a high bar.
she does, which isn't
As you should,
isn't a bad thing, but sometimes, I like to say she's type A through Z, and so that's like the one thing our personalities aren't aligned on.
Yeah.
Is I think you're kind of the whole alphabet, and I'm just one letter, and
Relaxed, yeah.
a little more lax and relaxed, and just kind of go with the flow in that aspect. So that's probably been a learning curve for me, is just getting ahead of her expectations and what she wants. But we share a lot of brain cells, I like to say, so we kind of just we vibe
We
very
kill a
well
lot of brain
together.
cells
We
too
kill-
together. Yeah.
With the margaritas.
With the
Yeah,
margaritas.
no,
Yeah,
even
clarify. Yeah.
even just in general, like people,
Yeah.
I sometimes think, oh my god, what would people think of what we're talking about right now? Like we
Yeah.
can't put that on camera, or like we have to remember that we're mic'd and running.
Yeah.
They can hear everything we're saying.
Yes.
So.
So what would you say? I mean, family, it sounds like is, the absolute key driver behind all of this and rewarding, and obviously the community. But are there any other aspects that are just incredibly rewarding to you? We talked about the challenges, but like what keeps you wanting to do this? Is there going to be more? Will we have more betting on Beloit? What's happening and what keeps you going?
Well, I think one of the biggest positives is that the community has really embraced this. I really, that going in, it's just like the no good deed, saying, there's always pushback. There's always, no matter, how good what you're doing, there's going to be people who don't like it. So coming into this, I sort of had an expectation that there was going to be some, maybe bad press, at least locally. And I really feel like that has been minimal. I feel like the community as a whole has really embraced it. I feel like the show coming into existence, people really rallied behind it, kind of all walks, and it has felt very positive. So I feel really, really good about that. And I feel like people are excited, wondering if there is going to be a season 2, because, it just kind of just brought kind of good energy to the city. So that makes me really happy. And then also that I really do think that we're doing what we set out to do. I think, all these good things are already happening in Beloit. We have all these great things going. But now that we've put it on television and put it out there, I mean, I'm already told, like, there's people who are coming to the hotels and coming to go to Henry Doorbaker's and do fun things in Beloit, and they will come, and I hear from the front desk staff that they say, oh, we just wanted to come check it out because we saw it on TV. I mean, that's really, you know, the goal, and is going to be helpful, so it makes me happy.
I think, like, again, I keep going back to when this show idea kind of was coming to fruition. I kind of always said, well, I want to make sure we can put Beloit on the map. And I think that's really the way that we're going, that path we're going down, is truly putting a blinking red sign that Beloit is here. Beloit's here
Open
to
for
stay.
business.
It's open for business. Like, and, you know, that legacy to continue is absolutely amazing. So
My parents have very big shoes to fill, but we'll do our best.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the understatement of the year, is
Yeah.
that they have very big shoes to fill. So, but we got it. We're doing it.
We got it.
So
We got
we're
it.
doing it.
And I am appreciative of people like you, because you are very dynamic. You are, I mean, huge to Beloit in my eyes. And you put a good word out, and you are from here, and you're loyal to the city. And I feel like you bring a lot of positivity to this industry. And, you know, you also, I know you two are personal friends, but very infectious, you know, positive personalities. So
our boys are going
go
to
Beloit. It
best
takes,
friends.
it takes a village, you know.
It does. It
So,
does. And I guess I thank you. I really appreciate that. I appreciate our friendship. I appreciate everything that your family has done. And it's a community based thing. And it's been amazing getting to know you and other members of your family, because you are a part of this community. You care about this community truly
We
and
do.
genuinely. These are the hardest working folks that I know, really. I mean, they
I don't know
just.
about this one.
I mean, it did take me a little longer to finish
Yeah.
college. Okay, so
Yeah,
I'm
just
a little
kidding.
more
I'm just kidding.
relaxed,
Yeah.
But it does come through, and I think that's the reason for that good press and the great response that the community has had to the show, despite, you know, the people who always, the peanut gallery that always has something to say.
Mhm.
I think overall people really see that you are a part of this community, you care about this community, and you want to make it a better place for everybody.
Yeah.
We
I
do.
do. Yeah, I mean, it was ranked the worst place to live in the state,
Mhm.
and I don't think that
It wasn't true
deserving.
then. Yeah,
Yeah,
it wasn't true then, and
deserving,
it's certainly not the case now.
No, I want to make sure that tone has changed, and I think we're there.
We're getting
I
there.
think we're there.
We're
So
Well, I really appreciate you guys. Is there any last minute things that haven't come across yet on this episode, on any other episode that you've done on the show, like any closing statements that you want people to know?
I just think it's important that people understand that we would be doing this work with or without the cameras.
Yeah.
We were actually doing it before the cameras, and when the cameras stopped rolling here in Beloit, like, we have every intention to continue this process and continue this mission. Maybe at a little less aggressive pace, but you know, we're going to be doing this for the foreseeable future. So
until we run out of houses, that is.
yeah,
So.
we got a ways to go. Yeah.
Which means the longevity of this mission is long.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I don't know. The longevity is long.
Yeah, that's very wise. So
Well, thank you guys very much. I
Thank you.
appreciate everything that you're doing here, your inspiration, your friendship. Thank you all for tuning in and watching. This is the Beloit Buzz with Konya and Connor, betting on Beloit. Tune in again and see who we're sitting down with next.